Hi, everyone. Okay, today we're going to be talking about solving equations with square roots. Just grab a sheet of paper. If at any point you need to stop, just pause me and keep on writing. So we are going to be solving equations by square roots, and that means we're going to be solving equations that have squares in them, like x squared, m squared, y squared, or a couple of the ones that I'm seeing right now just down there. So if you have like x squared equals a number, some number a, I don't know what that number is, then you can solve it by taking the square root, right? Remember, at the end of the day, our entire goal is to solve for x. So if we want x, we have to take the square root of a. So our steps here, we're going to locate the variable. That'll be like our x, our y, whatever that letter is. And then we're going to isolate x squared by doing our algebraic manipulations like we normally would. So maybe we subtract 7 from both sides. Maybe we multiply by 2 from both sides. But at the end of the day, we're going to solve this as if it was just a regular variable, even though it's not just a regular variable. It's a variable squared, but we're going to try and solve it like a normal variable. And then we're going to take the square root, and then we're going to check our answer. So just follow along on a piece of paper. I'm going to tell you which ones I want you to turn in. If you need, or if for whatever reason we're not in school tomorrow, we'll turn it in the next day. So number one, we're just trying to get x squared by itself. And just from looking at this, it looks like x squared is all by itself already. So we don't have to do any other algebraic manipulations other than take the square root. Take the square root. If you're wondering, oh, well, how do I take the square root? What do I do? Well, oh, sorry about that. Think of a number that when you multiply it by itself, you get 36. We should know at this point that that's 6. Alternatively, if you need to use a calculator, use a calculator. Also, alternatively, if you're not sure how to find the square root button on a calculator, it's going to depend on the calculator you have. Now, if we're looking at the blue calculators I have, you're going to press the second button in the top left, and they're going to hit the square button. It says x squared on it, right next to the 7, to the left of the 7. Otherwise, if you're just using your Chromebook, that's fine. Just use like Google and ask, hey, what's the square root of 36? Just type in square root 36, like this, SQUARE, square root of 36. It will tell you that your answer is 6. But hold on, we have to be careful. So when we take the square root, we should get x is equal to, whenever you take the square root, whenever you introduce a square root, because right now, in the original problem, there is no square root. There's a square. Whenever you take the square root to solve, you have to make sure that you add a plus or minus, because -6 squared also works out. -6, when you're multiplying it by itself, is something that also works. So that's it. That's your solution. You're done, really, with that. So what we're going to do now is check our answer. So we're going to check both of our answers. So we'll test the positive 6 first. So 6 squared equals 36. And we have to ask ourselves, oh, does 6 squared equal 36? And yes, it does. 36 equals 36. You're done. The other one that you have to check is -6 squared equals 36. And of course, -6 squared is 36. I'm going to come over and give myself a little bit more room there. So I have, oh, wait, that's not what I wanted. There we go. So I have 36 equals 36. Again, I had to jump around a little bit there. Sorry. So again, 2, find your variable. I found it. It's the one that's being squared. It's the letter. So we're going to come up and we're going to take a square root on both sides. And you know what? I don't remember what the square root of 289 is off the top of my head. Genuinely, I don't. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to open up Google real quick. I'm going to say square root of 289. 289. Oh, that's right. My internet's down. Let me pull out my phone. Look up the square root of 289. 89. My calculator is elsewhere at the moment. Yes, I'm aware you can't connect to the internet. I want you to go on the internet anyway. 17. So we have plus or minus 17 equals y. Remember, whenever you take the square root, you have to have that plus or minus. You have to. So, from here, we just have to check our solutions. So again, we're going to say, okay, 289. 289 is equal to, we'll check the positive one first. It doesn't matter which one you check first. I just like checking the positive one first. I feel like that one is easier. So we're going to take 289. All right, that stays the same. We're not touching that one. That one's going to be left alone. And then for, yeah, sorry about the volume, guys. I don't know why my computer is recording the volume differently. It's just changing like my microphone sensitivity. I'm not exactly sure why. I've been working on it all week. I don't know. So, 17 squared is 289. If we were to take 17 and square it in a calculator, we do get 289. Likewise, we have to check the other solution, 289 negative 17 squared. When you're typing it into your calculator, by the way, type it in exactly as you see it, parentheses and all, because you want to make sure you're including that negative in the square, right? You want to actually take the negative and multiply by itself, not just the 17 and have the negative out front. If you do something like that, well, then you're going to end up with an issue of your answer suddenly being negative when it's not supposed to be. Clearly, your answer is supposed to be positive. We know it's supposed to be positive. It's supposed to be positive 289. So we take negative 17 and multiply it by itself, and you end up with, go figure, 289. Right? You're just going to keep on taking the square root. Keep on taking the square root. So next, I'm going to, this one's a little tricky. 5's a little tricky, but you're just taking the square root of 0, okay? It's just like any other number. You're going to take the square root of 0 just like you would any other number. Don't be surprised at the results you get. If they seem weird, that's okay. They kind of are. If they seem expected, that's okay, because it also kind of is. So for 7, I want to skip these because these are just taking the square root over and over again. It's literally 1 and 2 again and again and again. For 7, the first thing we want to do is actually solve for x squared. We want to actually get that x squared all by itself as if it was just x. Now, it's not just x. It's got this square attached to it. So we're going to draw our wall, and we're going to add that 10. Remember, you want to get rid of the thing that is being added or subtracted first. That is the first thing that should always go. And then you have x squared equals 49. And now you take the square root. Now you're going to go up, you're going to say, I want to take the square root of that. X is plus or minus 7. And then you're going to go check your answer. So you're going to have 7 squared equals 49. And then you have 49 equals 49. And you're going to do the same thing with the negative. Remember, always write the thing you're plugging in parentheses. I can't stress that enough. Always write it in parentheses. And then see what negative 7 times itself is. Well, if you square anything, it should be positive. And 7 times 7 is indeed 49. That is the correct answer. Number 8, same deal. You're going to want to get rid of this 24 first before you take the square root. Always get the variable that's being squared by itself first. So I'm going to draw my wall. Minus 24 minus 24. And then the m squared comes down. My 24's cancel out. 24 minus 24 is just 0. So I'm left with just my one singular m squared. And let's see. I believe 33 minus 24 is 9. Yes, it is. I had to double check that real quick, but it is. And then take your square root. Take your square root. M is plus or minus 3. Remember, when you take the square root, when you introduce the square root, you have to add a plus or minus. And then plug it back in. You've got let's plug it back in to the original equation this time. You got 3 quantity squared plus 24, and you want to see if that's 33. Okay, well, I know 3 squared is 9, and then everything else stays the same. All I'm doing is doing order of operations. Exponents go first. I'm going to evaluate the square first. And then I've got 9 plus 24. That is indeed 33. That is 33. And same thing, we're going to test -3. And you do get the same thing. You do get 33. You are done. Now, there is more to this that I'm going to talk about tomorrow. But for now, what I want you to do, right, I want all of these on a separate sheet of paper. 3 through 6 are the ones that you have to do. Those are the ones that you have to complete. So, go ahead, give those a shot. I'd like them in order, please. So try 1 and 2, and then do 3, 4, 5, 6, and then go ahead and copy down 7 and 8. Okay? We'll talk about it tomorrow. I hope you have a good rest of your day, and I will see you on Wednesday.